Now, before the NBA regular season started, I predicted that the Utah Jazz would be the worst team in the whole league. And now that the regular season is almost over, I gotta say, the Utah Jazz have really exceeded my expectations this year. And today I wanted to come out here and admit that I was in fact wrong about the Utah Jazz, and I'm going to break down how they were able to exceed my expectations. But before we do get started, of course, hit that like button if you guys end up enjoying this, since it really does help out my channel. And of course, subscribe if you guys are new and you guys enjoy this type of content, so you don't miss out on any new videos like this. But without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get this video started. Now, the most significant catalyst for Utah's success by far was Lauri Markkanen. And before this season started, Lauri Markkanen was a guy that the whole league had pretty much just given up on heading in to 2023. As you know, in Chicago, his first 2 seasons, he was pretty solid, but after that, he stagnated as a player, and eventually people had really just grown impatient with him, and as a result, a lot of people just gave up on the idea of him breaking out. But this year, he played like a bona fide all-star, and he just proved his doubters wrong. I mean, in fact, he made the all-star game. Offensively, he can score from anywhere on the court. He went from, before he was really just a stretch big who was, he could shoot threes well, but he wasn't really going to do much when it came to creating and scoring inside the arc. But this year, he's really taken his game to a whole nother level. Of course, he can still hit his threes, but he's much better as a creator, and he's much better when it comes to scoring inside the arc. He's also been a pretty solid rebounder, and this year, Lauri Markkanen has been putting up 25 points per game and 9 rebounds per game, while shooting 50% from the field and 40% from 3. And I think the whole NBA does need to apologize him. And I myself am willing to admit that I was indeed wrong about Lauri Markkanen. So, yeah, Lauri, I'm really sorry for doubting you, but yeah, I mean, that's really all I gotta say about Lauri Markkanen. I mean, again, you really gotta give him credit for the way he's played this year. He was by far Utah's best player. I mean, it's not even a contest. And the guy, again, was just legitimately, he was legitimately great. And I have no doubt in my mind that Lauri Markkanen is gonna make even more all-star teams in the future. And I think he's good. He's definitely going to be one of the Jazz's big cornerstones going forward. Now, besides him, Jordan Clarkson, he's been pretty solid this year. I'll admit, I've never really been the biggest Jordan Clarkson fan. I've always felt like he's been a little bit overrated and is really just a pure scorer. And some of that is still true. He mostly is just a pure scorer, not really going to do much when it comes to playmaking, and really not a great defender, but he is a good scorer, and this year he has been pretty solid for the Jazz, and definitely been a big part of them being a lot better than expected. He's been averaging 20 points per game on 44, 38, and I believe 81 splits. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, something like that. I think it's solid efficiency. Yeah, anyway, sorry about that cough. I cut it out, but yeah, Jordan Clarkson, he has, he's been pretty good in his first year starting with the Jazz, because of course previously he was basically a sixth man. But yeah, Jordan Clarkson, not much to say besides that. He's been pretty good this year. Along with that, you got Collin Sexton. I'd say he's been decent for the Jazz. He scored 14 off the bench on pretty good efficiency. I actually thought Collin Sexton was gonna be Utah's big, breakout star this year. Before the season started, of course, that was not exactly the case. It was Lauri Markkanen who was their breakout star, but Collin Sexton, while I don't ever think he will be an all-star level player, I do think that he can be a good role player, which, really is not that bad. And, if the Utah Jazz ever do move off Jordan Clarkson in the future, which, I know, but before the trade deadline, there were rumblings of that happening because I think his contract is up soon. Then, I feel like they do have the replacement for him in Colin Sexton, because they are similar players. Really just like, they're just like pure bucket getters and not really going to provide you much else. But, they're damn good when it comes to bucket getting. Now, besides that, a few other guys I want to go over include Kelly Olynyk. He's been a good stretch big for them. You got Walker Kessler, who has been really good for them. He's been one of the best rookies in the whole league. Offensively, nothing crazy, mostly just a lob threat. But as a defensive player, he has been extremely good. In fact, you could argue that he's been like just as productive as like a Rudy Gobert kind of was when Rudy was with the Jazz, which is kind of crazy to think about because the Jazz traded Rudy Gobert for Walker Kessler and a bunch of other players and picks. So they got a guy who is like just as good as Rudy Gobert. So yeah, man, Walker Kessler again been really good and one of the best rookies. And then Ochai Agbaji, I'll admit, I thought he was going to have a much better rookie season because coming out of Kansas, I thought that he had a really pro-ready skill set, and I thought he was going to be really good out of the gate. Now, that hasn't been the case this year, but I am a believer in Ochai Agbaji, and I do think that next year or the year after, he will be, he could be like a pretty good contributor for this team. But yeah, really all I gotta say for the players. And we also, of course, do need to give our credit to the coaches because teams are more than just players. It's also coaches, and Will Hardy has been an extremely good coach for the Jazz. Will Hardy has done a great job of developing Lauri Markkanen and helped take his game to a whole nother level. And along with that, he's built a really good culture there. And again, he's helped the Jazz be much better than, they were expected to and much better than they really should be. So, yeah, man, Will Hardy, he's an extremely good coach. And I really respect what he's done this season with the Jazz. While Utah probably won't be making the playoffs this year, I don't think they'll even make the play-in, unfortunately. They were in the play-in race all year, even if they didn't ultimately make the play-in tournament. But yeah, man, if you are a fan of the Jazz, you should view this year as a success because you found a franchise cornerstone in Lauri Markkanen. You also found other guys like Walker Kessler, Colin Sexton. You did find some franchise cornerstones. You also found a head coach of the future. And as I have said several times throughout this video, Utah has been way better. They exceeded expectations and they were very competitive. They were in the play-in race all year, and in fact, to begin the season, they were one of the better teams in the league, and so many people thought that they might actually be like a top 5 to 6 seed in the Western Conference. Now, that didn't happen, but again, the Jazz have had a really good season this year, and it's just been a success, to put it quite simply. And in fact, funny enough, they're way more respected right now compared to how respected they were when they had Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, despite the fact that those Rudy and Spida Mitchell teams were they were a lot better than this current squad that they have right now. But people may be concerned about the fact that the Jazz did not tank because they aren't going to get a top 5 pick and they aren't going to be in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. They're probably going to end up with a top 11 pick, but this draft class this year is it is extremely good, and I do think they can find a pretty good player at like pick 11, even if it isn't going to be on the level of Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, Brandon Miller. They can find a good player. And As for things I do think they should do this offseason, I'd really like to see them pick up a good playmaking guard because I think they lack playmaking. And the Jazz are top 10 in cap space, so maybe they can find a way to acquire a player or two. And also, just acquire a little bit more young talent and continue to develop the young guys you have. And hey, if they can do that and improve in the offseason, best believe that this squad could be in the playoffs extremely soon. But that's really all I gotta say for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me, and it's great to be back. I'm so glad that I can record videos again. And yeah, of course, like, subscribe, do all of that, and check me out on social media. Links to my Twitter and Instagram are in the description below. And without further ado, I'm out, you guys.